go look at this. And shouldn't I have whatever? Nope. Need to manage. Yes. For mobile stream again. I think. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. So hey, I should have went and got my other glasses. These are like computer, so about this far away. I need to look at the camera. These are about this far away. But I'm going to be over there. And if I can't see something that's happening, well, then so be it. It'll just be what it is. Still working on this coffee table. I got it all textured. I did release a short just a little while ago, a couple hours ago or something, that showed some of this, but I'm going to show this to you real quick. See if I can get it at the right angle so you can see. Come on. There. Yeah, you can see that texture right there in the wood. So I used a wire wheel to remove a bunch of the early wood. There, yeah, you can really see it there. That's good. And then I used this thing. It's a nylon. Oops, I don't have it plugged in. Doesn't matter. I'm not using it right now. It's a nylon wire wheel brush thing. It's a little bit abrasive. This is like a medium grit, and it used to be like this big. I wore it down pretty good. I mean, I've used it for other things before, but only a few, and I've used it for like about 2 hours yesterday, something like that, and it just wore it right down. I should have went and put it in reverse once in a while and went the other direction. You know, that would have been smart. But anyway, so it accomplished what I needed it to accomplish, and it removed all of the fuzzy, like unsanded feeling from the texture. You know, it's obviously it's texture and everything, but it felt like the texture needed sanded because it had like fuzzies and little catches on your fingers in it and everything. By the way, I have my microphone right here. So if you're wondering what that is on my head, it's just, I hate the pinching on the shirt, you know? So that's what I did. And it really made it, you know, have that texture, but it's nice and smooth. You know, you touch it and it doesn't feel, you know, rough, if that makes sense. So then at the end of yesterday, I glued up the ends. I didn't want to glue up all 4 legs and all 4 aprons at the same time because, you know, that gets frantic and you're freaking out trying to make sure everything's square and all of that stuff. I mean, they both have their pros and cons. You know, the nice thing about doing it all at once is that you can make sure that it's all square all at once. Because if either one of these like got off a little bit or something, I could have a problem. I may have a problem. I may run into a problem when I'm doing this. But, so you can see the mortises here. That's for one end. Let's see if I got these on the right end. Nope, that's not that one. Here we go. This one goes here and like that. Yeah, that's gonna go in there. That one is E, and it's going to go there. But going to remove these clamps. And yeah, I just thought I'd do a live stream and hang out with you guys again for a little bit. See what pops up. Oh, hey, that says Peasold. Hi, Angie. How are you? What is it you always say? Peace and veggies. Yeah, peace and veggies. Um, so I thought that I would glue this together today. I'm going to try and get it oriented here first. And then we will do this so that I can dump glue into the mortises. There we go. And then it'll be ready for, like, I can do that. Yeah. And then once I get this base all glued together and everything, I'll start working on the top. The top I did the wire wheel on, but I haven't done the nylon brush thing on that yet. And I'm going to use the last of that nylon brush probably, doing the top because it's a lot of surface area, and I've got that set up. I'm not going to do that on here just because it's just noise, so that wouldn't be very fun. But anyway, so yeah, I just thought I would come on and do this glue up while I'm talking to you. Still got some little dust pockets in some of these mortises. I didn't realize that. So what are you all doing today? What I thought that I would maybe do is, instead of just randomly going live and hoping that somebody shows up, like an amateur, I thought maybe I'd start scheduling a live. And Thursday seems like a good day for me. I tend to have things going on Mondays a lot of times. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are generally open for me, but sometimes they get, taken up. And I was just thinking of a consistent day of the week that might be good. Friday's not good for me because I have my men's group on Friday morning, and I could do it in the afternoon, I suppose. So that's an option. But maybe I'll do a poll and ask you guys, if you have like a favorite day or a day that would be good for you. If it would be like Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon, something like that, that would be a good day to go live. I was actually even thinking of doing like a have lunch with me kind of thing. Do it like at noon or something, and I could actually sit here and eat my lunch and hang out with you. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know, come in the comments on the live if you want to. Let me know what you think about that. Feel free to chat with me. I'm glancing at it every once in a while to try and communicate. But I'm gonna try and glue these up. We'll see how that goes. I've got my big clamps over there. I'm not gonna get them down yet until I need them. But and that's the trick with this, is like with these end pieces, I just had to do 2 and then put it together before the glue dried. I have to do all 4 of them now. And it's not like I haven't done a big glue up before. I've done a few that were really frantic, that had a whole lot of stuff going on all at once, and it can be daunting. But so this won't be too bad. But something goes wrong and things get crazy, then you'll just have to watch me go insane trying to fix it. So there you go. Once I do this, I probably won't be able to answer any comments, but I'll be able to look at them and talk to you as much as possible. So, oops. Once again, it's got glue over the top of the hole. Let's see if I can get that out. There we go. Somebody was talking the other day, I can't remember who it was, about people not feeling like they're far enough along at whatever age they are. I feel like it was my pastor, maybe. I don't know. Or somebody in service that was saying that, talking about how, we tend to sometimes feel like, oh my gosh, I'm this old and and I'm not super Christian yet, or whatever it is, your job or whatever success level, or not success level, but whatever like job you're doing or something like that you feel like you should be farther along. Um, that's what I needed. And they were, talking about how, that's not how you should tend to evaluate yourself or judge yourself. And that kind of resonated with me because I have well, I've never been very ambitious as far as like, a career went. I'm retired from my job that I had, and I was a janitor, and I'm not being down on myself for being a janitor or anything like that. I liked it. It was it was easy, not mindless, but it was easy work that I didn't have to. It wasn't high stress. I didn't have to think about it a whole lot, and I was able to think about other things while I was working. I have to pull this towards myself because I can't lean over that far. So, it is what it is. But I never, I did get promoted a few times, and I was a, kind of a foreman or whatever. But I applied for a job of being the boss over all the janitors. I was kind of a boss over all the janitors where I worked. But I didn't get that, and I was perfectly fine with it. And I even told them that in the interview. It's like, I'm happy where I'm at. If this happens, I will, trust that that's where I'm supposed to be and that's what's supposed to happen. But if it doesn't, then that's perfectly fine. And I didn't get that job, and I just took that as God saying, that's not where you're supposed to be. And because I probably would have been stressed out, and I wouldn't have enjoyed that at all. So let's do this. I'm trying to avoid any kind of glue squeeze out because with this texture, it'll be a little bit difficult to clean it up. All right, those two are in, so let's see if we can do these. But anyway, I started thinking about that. I started thinking about the, people not feeling like they're where they should be and all that. And obviously in the Bible, in those times when Jesus was teaching, he used a lot of, they called them parables, but it was, a lot of times it was analogies, parables that, were like analogies with a story, I guess. But I tend to, I think a lot about plants. It seems like you can always find something that has to do with nature or plants or animals even, or, whatever, that is a good lesson for, for whatever we're concerned about at the moment. And the thing that came to mind was trees that grow really fast tend to be weak. And, here I am, I'm doing the texture here for what's known as early wood and late wood. And in spring, the trees, branches and the trunk and everything else tends to gain a lot of, ground. It grows faster. And then towards the summertime, or maybe even early fall or whatever, at least I think that's about when it happens, they tend to, slow down, grow a little slower. And that's how you get the rings in a when you look at, like a slice through a tree and you see all those rings, the rings are the different color between the light, it's light and dark. That's the variance between the part that grew fast and the part that grew slow. Don't want to put that there. Where'd my rag go? There we go. All right, I'm just gonna put that in the middle there. So anyway, you can see the difference between that early wood and late wood by the color of it. And the early wood, because it grew fast. Hello. The early wood, because it grew fast, it also is weaker and softer. And the late wood, because it grew slow, is harder and stronger. Sorry for the loud bangs here, but it's got to happen. So, I think that relates to us in this way. The faster you grow, the faster you achieve whatever goal it is that you're trying to achieve, whether it's climbing the ladder at work or whatever. That can be great, but you might be missing out on the maturity that you need to have how do I want to say it, like staying power, to have, to be able to keep that job. And so, somebody might get, obviously we've all seen it. We've seen somebody that is either, nepotism or something like that, where the boss's nephew or somebody gets the job because they're the nephew, and they don't deserve it yet, and they don't have the maturity for it yet, and so they may have started at the bottom, but they climbed the ladder really fast because of who they are. And I'm not preaching against nepotism here. I'm just using that as an example of somebody that grew too fast. And so, they end up being a top level person before they should be, because they haven't grown and matured yet, and aren't wise enough to maybe hold that job and do it well. And I think the same goes for, either your Christian walk, any goal that you set. I'm not saying that, getting something fast is absolutely wrong. And if God's promoting you quickly for a reason or something, then that's a whole different story. But just in general life, when you're talking about those kind of things, if you grow too fast, if you get there too fast, it can be dangerous or a problem down the road, because you haven't grown strong enough to handle that job. You don't have the knowledge, you don't have, or whatever it is, whatever the goal is. And with the Christian walk, it's the same way. I think there's the parable about the seeds, where Jesus says, that seeds are sown, and there's rocky soil, there's good soil, there's rocky soil, there's soil that's got a bunch of weeds in it or whatever. And I think the ones that I think there's even one example. I should have had this ready and looked it up. Sorry. But it's, it's in the gospel somewhere. It's the parable about the seeds. And I think there's even one where it says that it quickly, it grew really fast, but then it died for lack of roots. Let me tip this up if I can and see. Maybe I can tip it up this way. Gosh. Okay, that's good. I just wanted to make sure that everything was looking flat under there for where the aprons are meeting up with the tops of these legs and everything. Now I'm going to measure before I forget so that it doesn't get out of square or something. 30 and a quarter. Pretty good. Pretty good. One could be a little better. But it's pretty square, as is that. Okay, we'll come around there. So yeah, during your Christian walk, I think it'd be real easy to, either get saved or become a believer or whatever, and you just get in too fast and maybe don't have enough Bible study, don't have enough, community, don't have enough whatever. It's a balance, just like plants, gotta have, carbon monoxide. I was about to say oxygen. We're the ones that need oxygen. Gotta have the carbon monoxide, gotta have the sunshine, gotta have the soil and the nutrients, and you gotta have water. You gotta have all those things in the right balance for it to work, for it to do well and to thrive, and all those things. And each plant's a little different too. Some of them need different soil types. Some of them need different amounts of sunshine, different amounts of water, and everything else. And so it's not just one thing, but the point being that, you need community. You need, either a church or a body of believers that are, good for you and supporting you as a young Christian. You need the word. You need prayer. I'm probably forgetting something, but, you need multiple things in order to make it work well. And if you grow too fast, and don't have those things in a balanced way, it could be bad, and you could easily either get talked out of it, lose faith because something bad happens, lose interest, something, the enemy tempts you and steals you away. There's all different kinds of things that can happen. So the point of me saying all this, I wasn't trying to deliver a sermon here or anything, but I was just thinking, in the context of people thinking that they aren't growing fast enough, or they haven't gotten to where they think they should be. Growing slow is good. Baby steps. Did you ever see What About Bob? Yeah, it was the Bill Murray and Richard Dreyfuss movie where he's like I was going to say psychotic. He probably is a little bit psychotic, but, he's like got all kinds of mental issues and stuff. And Richard Dreyfuss is like this, famous psychiatrist or whatever. And they end up, getting together, and Bill Murray just, latches onto his doctor and won't let go and invades his life. He's a sociopath and everything. But the whole thing that Richard Dreyfuss told him in how to deal with his problems was to take baby steps, one thing at a time. He's agoraphobic, among a bunch of other things. And it was like, don't think about the whole thing. Think about what you need to do to get out of this room. Think about what you need to do to go down the hallway. Think about what you need to do to walk out the front door. And in other words, taking it one step at a time. And is that not a sermon right there? Is that not God's, I mean, he doesn't show us the whole path. If he showed us the whole path, we'd probably be like, no thanks, And so, yeah, I mean, it's like he says, just do this, just worry about today. Just, commune with me today, be obedient today, do what I ask of you today, and let tomorrow worry about itself. And you're gonna grow, you're gonna grow, but you can only focus on one thing at a time. You can only focus on today, and grow what you need to grow how you need to grow today. Anyway, all right, sermon's over. um So yeah, this is looking really good. I'm really happy with this texturing and everything. It looks really cool. I can't wait to put finish on it. I'm gonna like next is the top, and I'm gonna use those figure 8 clips. Hold on, let me show you. It's these thingies. They have a countersink, on one side, on one end, and then on the other side, on the other end. Oops. There. And the point is, you put them, one of them goes under there. It's under there. It's on the top of the apron. But pretend this is upside down. It goes like that on the apron, or one of the aprons, or wherever. And then you sink it in, you countersink it in a little bit. You got to drill a hole that's that big, that's as so that fits in it. But you only drill it as deep as that, just so that it's flush with the surface. And do that, and then you put the other side. You don't countersink it, of course, because you don't need to. It's below the surface, and you just run a screw up, down through there into the apron, up through there into the top. Don't drill through, because you need short screws so that you don't drill through. And then the point being that you don't crank them down like super tight. You just have them good and snug. Excuse me. And when the wood moves, because it will, these will allow it to expand and contract, because they will shift a little bit. They're round, and they allow it to shift a little bit. It's not gonna. I mean, this tabletop's 27.5 inches wide. It's white oak. I don't know the exact numbers. You can get the exact numbers, of how much that wood will move per however many inches or something like that. But I mean, I think it's usually like 1/8 of an inch per foot or something. It's something like that. It's not much. And this will be like 2 feet, so it might expand and contract a 1/4 of an inch width. They don't expand long, or if they do, it's not enough that you can ever tell. But so you put these on there, and it allows for that to move without breaking it. Basically, that's why you don't just run screws directly into them, or if you do, you need to allow for room. You can do a screw, but you got to make like a hole that allows it to move back and forth. And these are just the alternative to that. It's a nice fastener, a way to get it snug and tight without it being loose and janky. Janky, like how I use the word janky in terms of wood. There's a scale that's called, I think it's janky. It's the janky scale, and it's the hardness scale of how hard different woods are. And it's funny how they come up with that stuff, because it's based on how far you can push. It's like a BB, or like a ball bearing, and it's got to be a certain diameter. I don't remember what that is, but how much pressure it takes to push a little ball bearing that's the right diameter halfway into the surface of the wood. And that is its janky rating. And I can't remember what the numbers are. I feel like they're, in the thousands or something, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's tens. I can't remember. But you can look at the scale and see, oh, this wood's really, really hard, and this wood's really, really soft, or whatever. White oak, I think, is kind of in the middle. But yeah, it's funny that it's a janky scale. My kids had a teacher whose last name was Janky too. Okay. So, got that glued up. I preached at you a little bit. Sorry about that. But you know, it was just something that was on my mind that I was thinking about the other day about the slow growth thing. Growing slow is good. It's strong. Trees that grow really fast, like you know, you see the lumber at Lowe's and Home Depot and stuff like that, and it's still wet. It's 2x4s generally. You know, they're still kind of wet, especially if they're treated lumber. But even the regular ones are still kind of wet. And you take it home and put it in your shop, and you know you're going to do the project the next day or something, and then you come back and the 2x4 is like this. It's you know it's a big old curve, or it's warped, you know, like this or whatever it is, and that's because the moisture left and everything. But part of the, you know, it hasn't been dried right. That's a whole different thing. But part of the problem is that it grew so fast. You know, they've wiped out a lot of trees, and they're trying to, you know, grow. They're always planting trees, trying to grow them and everything, so that we have lumber to build houses and you know, like construction lumber, not hardwood lumber. And they grow too fast, and they're not strong. You know, it's not like pine that was here, you know, from the beginning and got harvested. The houses that probably like the pioneers built and everything, and they built out of, say, pine trees. I mean, they built it out of all kinds of oak and everything else, but they probably went for pines generally because I imagine it was easier to work, and it was nice and strong, you know, because it was old growth. It grew really slowly. All those trees grew up together, and so they were all fighting for the same nutrients and the same sunlight and everything, and they grew slowly, and they were nice and strong. And the stuff that we have now is forced to grow really fast, and it's not strong at all. By golly, back in my day, uphill both ways. All right. Anyway, oh wait. Angie said, "Love the texture. Thanks for showing how you achieved it." Awesome. Thank you, Angie. Yeah, it's going to be really cool, and I will, you know, obviously this is not this, but I'm making a video of the coffee table build. I'm hoping it'll be about a couple of weeks or something. I'm gonna try to like tease it a little bit with some short videos and clips like that, so you'll know when it's coming out. Um, I'm really bad about, you know, being on a schedule or something. That's why I was trying to come up with, you know, what's a good day to maybe do this where I can do it regularly and be on a schedule, because I'm just terrible about that. When I make videos, I just like, I finish a project and I'll edit the video. I'll, you know, spend a whole day like sitting down and editing. And it takes a while. It's a lot of work. It takes like generally 5 or 6 hours just to do it the way I do it. And my videos are not, you know, high production level or anything, but it still takes like 5 or 6 hours, or sometimes 2 sessions of maybe, you know, 3 hours a piece or something like that um, to get a video edited and ready to put on YouTube. I just use iMovie. I'm not using, you know, Adobe products or anything. Um, and uh, and it's still, you know, well, my point being that I will, you know, I'll get that all done and then I'll just put it out. And I don't really, you know, tend to tell anybody or schedule it. And I think the people that are really successful on YouTube, they have consistency, and you know, they put out videos at regular intervals or something like that. Um, you know, it's not like I'm going to put a video out every week or anything. I can't build that fast, but I will. I'm going to try to do more teasers, things like that. Schedule it like, okay, I'm going to release it on this day, and work my way up to that to, you know, let you guys know that it's coming and all that kind of stuff. So I say I'm going to try to do that. We'll see if it actually happens. I might just keep flying by the seat of my pants. Who knows? But anyway, this is looking good. I'm really excited to get this done, and obviously move on to the next thing. But I can't wait to see my daughter's face when it's done, and I might do another live. Like, let's see, I got to do the top, and get it finished conditioning, and then I just gotta attach it with the clips and everything, and put my brand on the table, and then I'll be putting finish on it. So it's entirely possible that I could be putting finish on it on Saturday. Also, Nefarious Frost. I appreciate you being here, and awesome to. I really kind of like doing this in an in the moment thing where just able to like be present with somebody in the moment, and it's not just a video that you comment on later. I still like that too, obviously, but this is kind of fun. So I appreciate you guys, and I'm gonna get off here and start working on the top. So have a good one, and for Angie, peace, love, and veggies. See ya.